Okay, this is an audio of a casual chat conversation. I want to discuss 2012 with a person named IamDragon and with Lovick. But we can discuss anything, it'll just sort of go from one topic to the next. So, Dragon, what would you recommend for those that are going to be left behind, if assuming you are going to ascend, August 31st or something, what would you recommend for the people left behind after that date? What would you tell them to be doing for 2012? I want your best personal suggestions here.
I think, as far as this is concerned, this ascension, I think that possibly this three-dimensional world is going to end on this planet. And that's just my opinion. If that is the case, then I would say people will be picked up, but I don't know that for sure. Or they may go through a portal, but when they go through a portal, when it actually comes, they'll be going through to another three-dimensional planet.
Okay, Dragon, I'm recording again after a brief break. We had intermittent problems there. Okay, so Dragon, I'm assuming you're still there?
Yes, I am. I'm here patiently waiting.
Okay, let's go back. Most people don't know who you are. You're 45, right? And when you first started realizing that you were like multi-dimensional and you had a spaceship and all these weird things that most people find hard to believe or think is delusional nutcase stuff, when did this really first begin for you? You said it was June, right?
End of May and the first part of June is when I actually knew that I had a spaceship or a starship, so to speak. I really didn't know too much about it. I knew I was going somewhere else before that time. I didn't know when, but I did know that I was going somewhere else. And it was not on this planet. It was to another planet, so to speak. I was with a reptilian group called the Organization, which they don't want their name put out, but I don't really care. They are a private group where they are trying to actually, I don't know how to explain it to you, but the organization is out there and they're trying to say that all aliens are bad, and that's not the case at all. I've dealt with a lot of different aliens, or some people call them angels or guides. I've dealt with a lot of them, and most of the aliens that I deal with are very peaceful. They're very loving, and they would do anything for the human race. Matter of fact, I also know of a race of aliens that fly around the earth and they actually protect the human race from alien abductions. And they will fight to the death to protect the human. I do know that. And I have actually talked to people that have seen these aliens and seen them protect the humans against alien abductions.
Okay, this is a new recording, and a lot of people who are coming across this for the first time, your nickname is IamDragon. That's what we know you as. What's your first name? And here's the thing: they're going to ask you, or they're going to be concerned about your sanity. They're going to say, "This guy sounds crazy. He's talking about aliens and all these weird things. I've never heard of this happening before." So he sounds like he's lost his mind. He needs to be put on medication. He's probably deluded, schizophrenic, or something to that effect. How would you respond to people who react in that way?
A lot of things a lot of people that their eyes are being opened to the fact that this three-dimensional illusion is not reality. Reality is actually outside of this three-dimensional realm. It's called the spiritual realm. The Indians knew it, the Chinese knew it, the Japanese knew it, and a lot of old races on Earth know about the spiritual realm. And that is really the reality, and not this three-dimensional realm like everybody thinks it is. This three-dimensional realm is actually an illusion. It is created by a vibrational frequency. We are energy. This reality we think is energy is not, or we think it is reality. It is not reality. It is created by a vibrational frequency, like I said. And as for us, we are energy, and everything around us is energy. Everything that is around us is on a vibrational frequency. Our bodies are on a vibrational frequency. Our mind makes it real.
Yes, I woke into that sort of reality some time ago, especially last year. Now, when you're saying things like vibrational frequency and illusion, and people are going to start thinking like The Matrix, right? That's a very important movie. I use it. People refer to it a lot when they try to describe our world. Now, your multidimensional travels. Can you describe to me? Because the Earth is ascending, right? The whole planet Earth is ascending in the process of it right now. As this video was made August 6, 2012. Now, when you say vibrational frequency, is there another way you can explain it to someone who doesn't understand?
Okay, the best way to describe it is a hologram. Everybody can see a hologram, okay? A hologram is made from 2 different cameras or 5 different cameras, okay? But you can't actually touch a hologram, so to speak. And actually, a hologram inside this 3-dimensional realm is a hologram within a hologram. But the best way to describe this 3-dimensional realm is that it is a hologram, and our mind makes it real. The Matrix is it. When Neo came out of the Matrix, Morpheus said, "Is that really real? Is the thunderstorms above your head, are they real?" Neo, were you looking at me, or were you looking at the lady in the red dress. Neo is looking at the lady in the red dress. Morpheus said, "Look again." Then he said, "If you're not one of us, you are one of they." That means the people that do not have an open mind, that cannot see that the Matrix or this reality that everybody calls reality is an illusion, those people are brainwashed. And the brainwashing comes from nanobots that are sprayed out of airplanes, preservatives in the food, hit by a radio frequency. And all of a sudden, you got nanobots in control of the population. You add that to, oh, if you don't do the right thing, you're going to hell. Hell is actually a planet. You know. And that's how you control the masses. You get them thinking that if you don't do the right thing, you're going to hell. You scare them into believing that that is reality, which it is not.
Okay, well, speaking of hell, some people, the religious types, will come across this video and say, this dragon guy, he's influenced by the devil. He's like influenced by demons. His thought pattern is demonic. He's one of them. The aliens are all demons, trying to get us into hell for believing in UFOs and things like that, right? How would you respond to people like that?
First off, I'd say religion is for to control the masses. Religion. That's the biggest charade there is on the planet of the earth. It's the people who believe in the religion, they are the best salesmen because they truly believe that they need to get everybody saved and thinking like them. The reality is, the religion that they believe in is what controls them, what makes them stay in line, what makes them obey the laws, because you gotta do the right thing. Outside of religion, not atheism, outside of religion, there is no control of that person. That's why I went through different religions. I started off with Catholic, went to Baptist, then I went to what was called the Vineyard Church, then I went to Assemblies of God, which is a non-denominational church. Then I finally realized that the religion is just another control. Control the masses. That's what religion is. It's not demonic. I'm not demonic. I have no desire to talk to demons or Satan or whatever you want to call it. But I do know the religion is to control the masses. And people that do not believe what I'm saying will eventually find out. either on this plane or another plane, or when they die, they will figure it out.
Well, okay, but you haven't mentioned God a lot. Where does your faith in God play into your whole experience?
Well, God, I guess you could call it the Creator. I believe in the Creator. I believe the Creator created this world. I believe that there's angels up there which believe in God or the Creator. But God is within each and every one of us. He is that energy that each and every one of us is made up of. He is that energy that this three-dimensional illusion is made up of. He is that energy that animals are made up of. That energy is in each and every one of us and everything around us. The flower that blooms, the skunk that raises his tail, he is in all of it.
Very good. Now, you've received information concerning your personal ascension. You perceive, and I've perceived it for you in a psychic reading, that August 24th and August 31st or September 1st, around that area, and this video is made August 6th, so you may not be here in your current form, your human form here, for very much longer. Now, I cannot reveal to you totally what's going to happen in September, October, but there's great events coming up. Something very, very big. Now, there's going to be a sense of apprehension, fear, anxiety, excitement. It's going to be like the end, the ultimate. It's going to be like a Hollywood movie replaying right here on planet Earth, and what we consider to be news now will no longer be news. So it'll be a totally different place in the next, not too far from now. Now, what do you perceive is going to happen after you ascend? Again, this whole September 1st, August 31st deadline.
I believe when I ascend. Actually, I'll start off with August 24th. August 24th, I believe I will see my star family on the three-dimensional realm. And the fact that I am on the three-dimensional realm. However, I can bilocate, which means that I can be on 5D, or the fifth dimensional realm, along with being on the third dimensional realm at the same time. And therefore, I can see my star family. As far as that is concerned, I believe on August 24th, my star family will be on the three-dimensional realm. People with higher vibrations will be able to see it. However, I don't believe there's that many people around me that are on higher vibrations that can actually see my star family. There may be, for that week, I will be preparing to ascend, and I believe that the day before I ascend, which is August 30th, I will actually receive my crystalline body. That is what I've been told. However, I do not exactly know what is going to happen and how I'm going to receive my crystalline body. Then, once I ascend, I believe I will be going up on my ship, the Marian Otessa. When I'm on my ship, I believe I will be preparing to land somewhere in the United States. I do not know where. But I believe that next month, September 14th, I will be landing, and possibly on the 27th. Maybe both times. I do not know for sure.
Yeah. Now, I've already mentioned before, but I'm going to mention it again because this is a new recording. Hireen, she's a chatter that sometimes comes into these spiritual categories in Pal Talk. Now, she has said that she has seen me, Daniel, aboard spaceships, healing people, teaching people about overcoming fear. Now, I have been seeing UFOs for the past 3 to 4 months or so. Most recent just two days ago or so. Now, I know I'm aboard multi-dimensionally incarnating in more than one body, and I'll describe Mrs. Green in a second here, but do you think that you and I could be connected somehow aboard these ships, along with Hireen and other people who are seemingly just friends online? Do you think we're all like interconnected here somehow now?
Actually, I do believe we are connected. I do not know exactly how. I know Harrion has actually told me you were on board the Marian Otessa. You were on board, and she mentioned that also to me. Now, I believe that we could be all connected. You could be a minister on board the Marian Otessa. I'm not quite sure on that, what your position is. But the Marian Otessa has a crew of 50,000 people. Right now, it has a crew of about 7,000 people, so it's a fairly small crew, and still there is plenty to do for all the people that is on board. As far as the UFOs are concerned, my star family just informed me that the UFOs you've been seeing are all from the Marian Otessa. There are 1,500 flying saucers on the Marian Otessa.
I see. Now, back to the incarnations thing, I'll give you 2 more examples. Now, this is something that sounds a little too out there for most to believe, like that we believe we only have one human body and that's it. Well, I have evidence that I'm incarnating more than one human body, not just on spaceships, but also around town in Chico, California. Now, I know this because, I'll give you 2 examples here now. I went downtown one night, it was like midnight, and I was wearing my white angelic clothes, and I made friends with a black man. He was a homeless guy. Now, we started talking, and he says, yeah, we've been seeing a lot around here downtown. You've been handing out bananas to homeless people. I said, yeah, that's what I do. I hand out bananas to homeless people, but I haven't been downtown here in about a month. He said, no, that's not true. You were just here just yesterday and handing out bananas to homeless people. And I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. So I'm doing more than one thing here, more than one body. And further evidence of this, but see, I'm not consciously aware of it. This human body at this point in time is somehow not conscious of what my other bodies are doing at any given time. Now there's one woman named Mrs. Green. Now last fall I was walking by her house and she was raking leaves. Now while she's raking leaves, I approached her and I said, "Ma'am, here, let me do that for you." Like, she had like an oxygen tube running in her nose, and I felt bad because I'm an able-bodied young male, right? So I figured I'd help her out. She absolutely refused, and she said, "No, I want to do it myself." And I said, "Okay." But then I walked back later, about half an hour later, and she was inside their house, and she left the rake with half the leaves still there. So I raked it up for her. Now, that was last fall, and I've been back to her house a few times since then. But then, about 2 months ago, I knocked at her door, and there was no answer. But then her son came outside, and her son said, "Yeah, you were just here a while ago talking about angels." And I said, "No, I wasn't, sir. This is the first time I've been here today. I haven't been here in a couple weeks." I said, No, you were just here. We were just talking to you a while ago. You were wearing white." I said, "Really? Okay." And I said, "Well, let me in on let you in on a secret here. I'm probably incarnating more than one body," and that was my other self you saw there, because he saw the other version of me. But I'm not consciously aware of that other version of what exactly it's doing in Chico, California. And it's not just one. It's more than one, more than two. There's more than one or two of me. There's a lot of them. I'm somehow bilocating multidimensionally around town since my ascension really began in May of 2011, when I officially awoken to the I Am consciousness of Ancient of Days.
I assume that it's your spirit that is actually doing it, or your soul that is actually doing it. I believe that it is your soul, okay? Since we are becoming one with each other, I believe that your soul is actually going and doing some of this stuff. And this is the reason why I say this, because I go to different dimensions. And this one night, instead of going to sleep, I actually played music all night long, and to raise my vibrational frequency. And so the next day, these people were all after me to take and go to these dimensions I was supposed to go to. And I didn't do it all day long, and then in the afternoon I was going to take a nap, and when I took a nap, I actually consciously went to all these different dimensions and basically got the people working and stuff. But my subconscious mind actually did a lot of the talking in these different dimensions. Okay, and my subconscious mind actually got these people working again. And I asked the guide that was with me, or the person, he was like a tour guide. And I asked him, I says, "How long have I been doing this?" And he said, "Oh, you've been doing this for the last 5 years." "I've been doing this for the last 5 years. Well, it only makes sense because I could not remember my dreams for the last 5 years. So I'm guessing that it's a kind of thing where your soul is actually going and doing stuff, and you're not realizing it, because you only realize it if you're conscious about doing it. But your soul is actually going and doing stuff too. And if you talk to the nature of the train, her soul actually does the same thing, and her soul helps some of the animals and prevents a lot of destruction. The destruction of parks, nature, etc.
You know, there's the 1% dilemma, right? Now, I know, like, not to sound like I'm tooting my own horn here, but I have to sort of do this for a minute. Now, I know that I'm in the top 1% of people who are truly aware of the truth and things like that, right? That doesn't mean I'm omniscient, but, you know, I know a lot more about these type of things that we are discussing than the average person does. Now, my IQ is like 160 or so. That places me in the top, like, 0.5%. Like 0.5% of all humans. And, you know, and see, the kind of stuff that this 1% perceives and talks about, like the kind of stuff you and I are talking about, is something the other 99% think is crazy nutcase stuff, right? They don't even touch it with a 10-foot pole because they would rather be watching, you know, stuff on television like Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune or Survivor and watch Britney Spears dancing up a storm, and they're just not into this stuff. And you know what happens when you try to speak to the other 99% and it sails right over their head? Because I'm sure we lost a few people here with this conversation. Sometimes it's hard to stay like commonsensical and down to earth while trying to explain these like multi-dimensional spaceships, fabric of space and time, and holograms, and like this sort of blows the mind of the average person. Now, is there like, so that's why, you know, I always try to be down to earth and try to explain things in easy to understand terms. Now, would you? But see, here's the thing: the 99% think the 1% is crazy, right? I've seen it happen with you in chat rooms where people think you've lost your mind. You're insane. They think you're insane, right? Now, I already asked that question before, of course. You know, like, how do you respond to people like that? And you shouldn't pay them too much attention, of course. But see, when you have an important message, it's supposed to be broadcasted. This is what the prophets of old did. But the problem is they killed most of the Old Testament prophets. They killed Jesus. They killed 11 out of the 12 apostles. So people like you and me, they don't respect people like me. They actually hate people like us, right? Because we're in this so-called elitist club of the 1%, and we know it, right? We're consciously knowledgeable that we are in this 1%. And the other 99% is trying to catch up or trying to figure out what we know intuitively, right? What we've experienced firsthand. Now, what do you say to people who think that we think that we're somehow superior to them, right? Oh, you're elitist, you're in the 1%. He thinks he's better than us. He thinks he's an angel, and this dragon guy, he's like, he owns a ship, a big spaceship. Who does he think he is? How do you respond to that?
I actually, you know, I don't think I'm more special than anybody else. I've gone through the same life as anybody else. Check that. I've actually had a very hard time in my lifetime. But I know from remembering my past lives that I chose this life. It was a hard life, but I needed to learn what I needed to learn. And because I have done my homework, I have learned what I needed to learn, and I have experienced what I needed to experience in this lifetime. My energy is a lot higher. Now, according to my numbers, I was the 7th kid born in the 7th month of 1967 in a family of 12. Okay? if you look at the family situation, there was 3 families of 12. The first family was my dad's side. 12 first cousins there. The middle family was my dad's family, which is the family I live in, or I grew up in. Okay, there was 12 kids there. Now, on my mom's side, there's 12 first cousins. Now, if you add the 1 and the 2 in the number 12, on all 3 number 12s, that is 3, 3, 3. In numerology, there is a definite number. The definite number is 333, which stands for Ascended Masters. Okay? Now, I'm not crazy, nor will I ever be crazy. I'm not insane. I don't take drugs. The things that I speak of to help the human race. Last year alone, I lost $50,000. The year before, I lost $30,000. Who can take a loss like that and survive? I have. And I can't be mad at the people. It's not in my heart to be mad at the people. I care about this human race. I care about the people. And yet people, they don't understand how I can just say, oh well, and go on. But I do.
That's a very good quality to have, IamDragon. Now, I'm the same way in the sense that I can give you an example of something that happened last December, I think it was. Now, someone donated a laptop computer to me, and in the mid-December, my neighbor Paul broke into my apartment and stole it. Now, I knew it was him because God gave me a vision the next day of him breaking into my apartment, right? I knew it was him, but see, I didn't go out and accuse him. I didn't get angry. I just thought, I just thought to myself, well, karma is going to be a payback for him, right? And so I forgave him. Like, I couldn't look into his eyes and like hit him over the face or beat him with a baseball bat or something. I just couldn't do that. I just wanted to be nice to him, forgive him, but at the same time, I wanted justice, right? Like, so for crying out loud, he stole a laptop that was donated out of the goodness of someone's heart, So I generally kept silent on it for the next little while, and I reported it stolen, of course, but what do you know, about 2 months later, a police officer phones me up and he says that he has my laptop. They found someone in my laptop in someone's house, along with 3 other laptops, and then I got the laptop back. Right? I didn't even have the serial number on it. All I had was my email address in the computer, and the police officer tracked me down that way. And so I got my computer back. How often do you get a stolen computer back? That's incredible. And I think it was because I reacted so coolly and calmly to the situation. I didn't blow up and get angry. I forgave him for stealing. And the good news, though, is that guy got evicted. His name was Paul. I'm not going to mention his last name to protect his identity, but he got evicted from the apartment, and thank God he did, because we don't have to deal with his thefts anymore. So there you go.
Oh, it's funny you should mention that. I used to work for a dairy farm back about 11 years ago. And the week that I actually quit the dairy farm, he was trimming wages, and I left the dairy farm. And I could have done something about it, but I just said, you know what, let it be, because something else will happen. Karma will happen, and something else will happen. And I waited about a half a year. And in about 6 months, that dairy farmer went broke. And he had to file bankruptcy. He got his farm taken away. And he had absolutely nothing after he had his farm taken away. He had to actually work for the people who bought the dairy farm. You know, and I don't wish bad things on people. I do not wish bad things on people. I let people do the things that they want to do, think the things that they want to think, because eventually it may catch up to them. And it may not, but it will catch up to them eventually. And like I said, I don't wish bad things on people. I'm actually here to help the human race. I'd give my life for a stranger. That's how serious I am about this.
Yeah, you're misunderstood, Dragon. I think I have to admit I felt I'm kind of guilty of that myself. Misjudging people initially sometimes. You have to, who are we to judge, right? We don't know until we give them a chance to speak, right? See, the problem is not everyone's open-minded, right? Like you and I are open-minded. We're open to new truths and everything. But see, look at what percentage of the population do you think is too close-minded to accept the kind of things that we're talking about? What percentage would you give?
I would say about 98% are closed-minded to the point where you talk about anything of ascension or spaceships or aliens or angels or whatever you want to talk about. 98% of the population of this earth is closed-minded to any of that stuff. To the spiritual realm, so to speak. Or you want to call it the spiritual realm, you want to call it the reality, because that's what I call it. Spiritual realm is the reality.
Yeah, and the saying goes, truth is stranger than fiction. Like my story, for instance, like Final Book of Daniel, it's free to read, finalbookofdaniel.com. 10 years ago, I had visible wings of light, visible to the naked eye of complete strangers in bars, restaurants, libraries, government offices, on the street. And it was causing a big stir, right? This was like 10 years ago when people were even more closed-minded than they are now about these kind of things. Now the thing is, I didn't get any photographs, right? I didn't get any eyewitness testimonies from anyone because I thought it was too sacred, right? This is like unheard of, visible wings. And for years I tried telling people this. I said, yeah, I have visible wings that are to the naked eye. And they say, yeah, right, where's your photographs, right? So I kind of shut up for a while. I isolated myself indoors in California for a long time. But see, people around my city of Chico, California, just, even right now, they see the visible wings. They're seeing them again, right? It's happening all over again recently. And I have a video in my YouTube channel of my neighbor Teresa, where Brenda, sorry, Brenda, now she has seen my visible wings, right? She saw them come alive and come bright and everything. They're blue in color, 8 feet tall, and she saw them with her naked eye. Now the thing was, like, I didn't really tell her. I don't talk to my neighbors that much in my apartment block, but 2 of them at least know who I am, not because I've told them, because they've seen the wings, right? Now, Brenda, sorry, there's 2 neighbors. Teresa is the one who is a witness to me clearing the overcast sky on July 17th. There's another video about that. She gives her testimony where I told her in advance that I was going to clear the entire overcast sky above Chico, California, which all came to pass within a very, very short period of time. And there's other eyewitnesses to that too. But see, here's the thing, like, people wonder, they say, Daniel, why don't you appear on Oprah Winfrey or Larry King Live? You convert millions of people to God with your visible wings. The thing is, God does not allow me to turn them on and off. They're only visible to certain people at certain times for a certain purpose God intends for at the given time. Now, maybe in the future, if I'm supposed to come forward publicly on television or something, I'm assuming God would allow them to become visible. But right now, it's not my choice. And, you know, it's all true. It's not fiction. It's not delusion. I really am an angel, right? And for years I've had to deal with so much persecution because of that, because I didn't get any proof, right? People are not going to believe claims like you're an angel unless they see some obvious proof. Well, now I have the testimonies, and these people are not coerced. I didn't make friends with them and buddy and give them $100 for saying something. It's not like that at all. These are people who are willing to risk their reputation and come forward on the internet and truthfully tell these testimonies. And there you have it. Like, you know, if you want the proof, it's now there, okay? So people can stop making their false accusations and calling me crazy, because I'm not crazy, okay? So that being said, you know, it's kind of like a sad situation, isn't it, Dragon, where I feel I have to prove myself, isn't it? You know, I spend so much time trying to convince people that I'm not crazy, that it is real, that I spend so much time on that people say, me doth you protest, well, you know what I mean, right? Me doth think you protest too much, right? But see, I know I could convert a lot of people if I do offer these signs and wonders. That's the thing, and God is giving these signs and wonders now for all the skeptics.
And you concern yourself with what people think. I want to tell you a little story. And I hope this helps you. I joined the Marine Corps in 1990. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. You know, and growing up, I could never please my dad. And I went into the Marine Corps, and when I went away, he was all happy and he was proud that his son was a Marine. Okay? But when I came back, then it was just like, oh, he's a Marine. We don't want to talk about that. Okay? And I finally come to the realization that, you know what? I'm going to do this for myself. I don't care what my dad thinks. I don't care what my family thinks. I don't care what anybody out there thinks, because what I do is for myself. I'm making myself happy. And who really cares what the rest of the world thinks? Yes, I would like to have people understand my words, and you would like to have the rest of the people understand your words and believe. But you know what? It does not really matter. And as far as being an angel, I think I'm an angel. I deal with the Omarians. The Omarians look like humans, but they have a crystalline body. They have cobalt blue eyes. I used to have hazel blue eyes, which is light blue. 4 months ago, my eyes changed color. They went from hazel to a cobalt blue eyes. I can show people on camera that my eyes are cobalt blue. And I truly think that I am an angel. I deal with angels all the time. Most angels, when you look at the pictures, they have blue eyes. And they're shining very brightly, like a clear crystalline body. And I think, Daniel, that you're related to me. You are probably in my star family somewhere. And I think we're connected.
Yeah, I think so too. The more I talk to you, the more it makes sense, right? The more that's revealed. Like, this is what I've been told, is that it'll make more sense as we progress further and further. Not just not just here in this interview, but like the remaining time we have left. Everything becomes clear and makes sense as we go along, and things happen.
Absolutely. That like what I just revealed to you, I've been thinking about that for a while. Now I never talked to anybody about it, but I just had told you about that, and I think that it is right on track, and I think it is very profound. Some of the things that is being revealed to you and me, because our time is getting short. We are here for a purpose. We are here for a purpose to help and serve the human race. Yes, my time is short, but I believe that I will be coming back and helping the human race with not only me, but my ship also.
If you had a choice, seeing what state the world is in, and the way it has been for so long, with poverty, wars, hatred, death, destruction, pain, suffering. Now, if you had a choice between destroying 90% of it or saving the entire planet, if people would listen to you, what would you choose? Like, obviously, both of us, I think, we would choose to save the planet, right, and not destroy it. Like, how God of the Old Testament, He destroys the earth because He didn't like it, right? People were sinning too much and everything, right? So it's either destroy it or save it. Now, you have sort of a mission like that you need to accomplish, and and as do I. I'm supposed to be ushering in the whole ascension of the earth, but the problem is not enough people are listening, right? My problem is numbers. That's why I'm trying so hard to get people to believe through the signs and wonders, like testimonies and everything, so you can figure this out. Because the more people I get to believe, the more louder I can become in ascending the entire planet, like through the media, right? I've written letters to the President of the United States, and he, by the way, has taken me seriously. When I sent him that video, it came into my consciousness as he was watching the video. I saw what his reaction to it was. It scared him. Now, President Obama, that is. Now, but see, I don't have millions of followers. Like, look at this chat room here. There's 4 people here, right? I'm not in front of television like Larry King Live and Oprah Winfrey speaking in front of millions of people. But it seems like if I do get that opportunity, the way to do it is through the signs and wonders to make people believe. Yeah, this is a generalized recording to all people. Like it's not really just for one or two people. There's just a few people in the room right now, but this is being recorded on YouTube, so it'll be there for posterity purposes. So after you ascend and I ascend and whatever remains on the third dimension, you know, at least there'll be some sort of record that we were here.
Absolutely. This is for all people. As far as the events that are to take place and that are taking place, a couple of years ago, I had an event that happened. And I do believe in the Creator. But the thing of it is somehow I believe that I'm very important to the Creator. I'm also very important to the dark side because of my numbers. 777 could be evil or it could be good. And I could be either or. But I chose to be good, on the good side. And because I did, no, I forgot my thought now. Because I did, the dark side was against me. Sorry to say, but the dark side was against me. I forgot my thought, what I was getting to. Apparently it wasn't important.
Well, speaking of dark side, before the recording ends at exactly 60 minutes, I'm going to end it there. Right now it's we have 4 minutes left. Now, in that 4 minutes, we can discuss some important stuff. Now, last August, I think it was the 24th, if I remember correctly, I consciously guided Hurricane Irene towards Washington, D.C. It hit landfall at 3 p.m. Friday, which is some related to the cross of Jesus, right? 3 p.m. Friday afternoon. But I was up doing prophetic decrees to send it directly there, right? To show a sign and wonder. Now, luckily God turned it away at the last minute, so it didn't do any damage or anything like that. But see, the problem is, after that, right, October 1st to October 10th, men in black started showing up 5 to 6 different times surrounding my apartment looking for me. And each time I was somehow in a safe place, like in the back of my apartment or somewhere else while they were doing this, because God was protecting me from these sinister government type people. And it was not just me seeing them, okay? So, you know, like people who say, oh, he thinks the men in black are after him, he's conspiracy theory nut. No, these men are real, right? They're around all right, I'll tell you that much. And my neighbors all saw them too. Cut out, Dragon.
Are you there? Anyway, what I said, or what I was about to say was, these events that are taking place have to take place the way they take place. And I asked God, I said, God, why can't these events be changed? And he says, the events have to take place the way they take place because there is a certain outcome that the Creator or God wants. And the events that are planned, are to get a certain ending. If you put different ingredients into a recipe to make Toll House cookies and you change the ingredients, the cookies won't taste good. If you put too much baking soda in them, the cookies won't taste good. If you take out the chocolate chips, the cookies won't taste good. If you take out the oatmeal, they'll just be chocolate chip cookies, not Toll House cookies. So all these events that are happening have to happen because there is a certain result that God or the Creator wants to achieve. And that's why the events are happening the way they do.
Okay, one last thing. You're hoping for the ascension, but what if your choice, or not choice, but decision was to stay behind and be killed in the name of God? How would you feel about that? Just curious. And just answer that very briefly, and then I'll stop the recording.
My decision had to be where I had to stay behind and be killed. I would do that. Absolutely. I would give my life for what I believe in. And what I believe in is what is coming. Ascension. It's not about the religion. It's not about the control. It's not about any of that stuff. I know about the men in black. Now, I've known about them for a while. They don't scare me. What are they going to do? Kill this body? Threaten me with a promotion?